Hello there. BBC stars take pay cuts from gazillions to gazillions minus a few quid. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And why not buy a mug with my mug on it? So some of the top BBC self-righteous stars, have seen their obscene wages cut by a proportionally nominal amount, whilst others have seen their wages rise significantly, right when the BBC licence fee is a stretch too far for the budgets of many. Now, for normal people like you and I, a pay cut or a rise is something that normally ranges from a few £100s a year to maybe 4k tops. But in the world of the liberal lefty woke elite, they don't have the life experience to understand what it is like to have pay cuts or rises that can mean the difference between eating and not eating. No, to them, a pay cut is only noticeable if it infringes on their ability to heat the pool or fill the Bentley while putting away in savings every year more than the average person will earn in their working lifetime. No, these people have forgotten what the real world is like, if they ever knew, that is. But it is their job to lecture you on how you should think, function and behave according to their metropolitan bubble world view. So yes, Nick Robinson has taken an 8% cut down to some £275,000, with Hugh Edwards slipping back by 8.5% to £430,000. But they need to learn to disrespect the Union flag to get a pay hike. No, not the EU flag, the flag of the UK, because BBC Breakfast's Naga Munchetti has zoomed up the scale by 30% to 260,000 quid. Remember her sniggering at our national flag? Faisal Islam also got a 31% rise. But that football pundit all Brexiteers love to hate saw a fall of 22.2%, down to 1.36 million. But overall, the Beeb has managed to pare back the bigwig pay spend by 10%. Maybe because of all of those people rescinding their TV licences. And now the news that will have the lefty open borders and voter fraud supporting socialists in a right old tailspin. On top of the police, crime, sentencing and courts bill going through Parliament right now, we also have the new elections bill introduced yesterday, and now the immigration and borders bill coming forward today. And the elections bill may be the one that has slipped through under people's radar, but it is very significant because it appears to address many of the loopholes to voter fraud that the lefties seem so intent on keeping open for some inexplicable reason. The first problem for these socialists is voter ID. It will put people off voting, they wail, as well as, not everyone's got photo ID. Yeah, I bet the overwhelming majority of eligible voters in the UK have some form of ID available to prove age when buying booze and cigarettes or collecting stuff from the post office. And the lefties always conveniently forget, or choose to totally ignore, the fact that voter ID will be available free of charge from their local councils. So no excuse. No, the left don't want voter ID. They would rather a free-for-all that gives them a chance to slip a few, well maybe a lot, of fraudulent votes through. But when it comes to their pet votes, that's different. You try getting into a Labour Party conference without a membership card, then try voting on one of their motions without one, if you do get in. Yep, they put a hard border around their conference and demand ID to vote in their meetings. But the Lefty hypocrites want no border around the UK and no voter ID for general and local elections. Now, not a lot of people know this, but any person or party standing for an election, or for other reasons for a set fee, can get their hands on a copy of what is known as the Marked Register. This shows all the voters in the area, all those who are postal voters, and also shows who voted at the last election. Not how they voted, but whether or not they actually voted. So if you got hold of one of those and identified the many people who don't vote, then under the current system, where there's no need to present a poll card or prove who you are, then you could conceivably waltz away with several hundred votes or more, with no chance of ever being challenged or discovered. Not acceptable. But this new elections bill puts voter ID requirements in place. The new bill also puts some restrictions on the use of postal votes. But as far as I can see, this just limits how long your postal vote period lasts, from open-ended down to 3 years. But I might be wrong. Disappointingly, as far as I can see, it doesn't require applicants to prove they cannot attend an actual polling station due to health reasons or being out of the country before they can get a postal vote. This leaves the votes of some family members at the mercy of other overbearing family members, standing over them while they fill their postal ballots in to make sure they do it properly, or even doing it for them. Or worse, for the whole sections of communities. The more people we have exercising their right to vote alone inside a booth at a ballot station, the better. But what the proposed law does do is try to stop the practice of vote harvesting, where for some reason or other a party activist, usually a lefty, will turn up at the voting station on polling day to hand deliver a wheelbarrow load of postal votes from local care homes. Something this new bill outlaws. But there do appear to be one or two potential loopholes that could be exploited by the vote fraudster. The bill also puts in place new regulations to allow post-Brexit qualifying EU and foreign nationals to vote in local elections in England. Now to the new Nationality and Borders Bill. This was introduced by the Home Secretary Priti Patel this afternoon. Now, Patel has been under a lot of fire over the last few months for her abject failure in addressing the problem of rubber dinghies in their perpetual one-way traffic onto the shores of Dover. And further, her inability to put in place a system for sending them back, while the bank balances of people traffickers get ever larger. At the moment, a human right ambulance chasing lawyer only has to cough and everyone stays. So the Home Secretary has brought forward this bill to make sure those that come here illegally find it harder to abuse the current system to stay, while prioritising the needs of those who actually do need our protection. Now, the bill was announced in the Commons today at first reading, but no debate has yet taken place, and it has only just this afternoon been published on the government website, so I haven't had a chance to take a good look at it yet. But the government statement did say that it would bring in measures that all sound so good to Brexiteers, with such statements as, the bill will make it a criminal offence to knowingly arrive in the UK without permission to be here, with Patel tweeting, access to the UK's asylum system should be based on need, not the ability to pay people smugglers. That's why I'm introducing the Borders Bill to Parliament today. We're creating a fairer system for those in genuine need and for British taxpayers. But I will remind people that at the top of every new bill there has to be a statement that, in the view of the government, the bill is in line with the European Convention on Human Rights. And this bill is no different. Meaning in reality, that when it becomes law, it must be interpreted in accordance with the same human rights law that applies right now, whether or not it's right for the country. So Nigel Farage might well be correct in his very recent assessment that these new procedures will have little or no effect. Finally, a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters, and what's your opinion on BBC pay cuts and the new elections and borders bills? Please like and comment below.